As a lot of the Gen Xers in here know, the colleges did something extremely predatory to us Gen Xers, where they would have credit card companies out on the quad. They paid off the colleges to get us into credit card debt when we didn't even have jobs. It's great to be here. I'm going to teach you today how you can buy $1 million business without using any of your own money. Does anybody want to learn how to do that? And one of the things I like to do whenever I'm speaking anywhere is I want to look at the city that I'm going to, and I want to figure out where is a business in this city that someone could buy and take over and do a no money down deal. So that's exactly what I did. I found a business that's here in Alpharetta. It's right up the street from this hotel. It's making $400,000 a year. And I'm going to take you step by step and break down how somebody in this room can go on Monday and buy that business without using any of your own money. Is that cool? Could anybody use an extra $400,000? Now, I know in this front one, we got some folks like, man, I'm not getting out of bed for $400,000. Ace, you got to come with something better. But for the folks that could use an extra 400 grand, we're going to break that down for you. Now, one of the things I love about doing events like this is the opportunity to connect with mentors. And mentors is something that I'm very passionate about because I had a mentor that changed my life when I was young. And we didn't get off to the best of starts. I had a business that I bought when I was 19, and I'll tell you a little bit about that in a sec. But as I was running this business, after about 3 years, I hit a roadblock. We were losing money, and I was telling one of my friends, man, the business isn't going well. I got to figure out what to do. And back then, this is literally before Google even existed, let alone YouTube or any of that. And so you're kind of just trying to figure out things on your own. So I tell my friend about that. He's like, man, you know what? I actually know a guy that does some things similar to you. I'm like, wow, I had never met anybody who had bought a business before. And so I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'd love to meet him. He's like, I'll connect you with him. So he talks to the guy, gives me his number. He's like, all right, his name's Mike Aiken. You can give him a call. So I call up Mike, and I'm like, yeah, I was talking to Tony. He said, we do something similar to each other. I figured it'd be great. Maybe we could have lunch sometime and share notes. And Mike was like, yeah, that's great. What do you do? It's like, well, I had bought this little business when I was in college. I found a deal. I used $3,000 to make a down payment, bought this business for $70,000. It was making $60,000. And now I've grown it, and it's doing over $100,000 a year. But, I've hit some roadblocks here recently. And he was like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, what about you, Mike? What do you do? And he said 5 words that changed the way I saw business and money for the rest of my life. He said, well, Ace, I buy and flip hospitals. I was like, buy and flip hospitals? We do not do the same thing. I don't know what Tony was talking about. So the conversation quickly switched from us talking about doing a lunch and sharing notes to asking him to be my mentor, to which he agreed, and I was very thankful. So we had our first meeting set. I was excited. Go downtown Chattanooga, go to his building, and I'm sitting out front, had a little red BMW. I'm like, got my notes, I'm ready. And eventually I go up, get there a little early just to be safe. His assistant is there. It's like, oh, let me take you to the conference room. I go in the conference room. She's like, would you like some coffee? I was like, yeah. It's like, you want some water? I was like, yeah, what kind of water? I was like, what kind of water? I didn't know there was different kind of water. I'm a young kid. It's like, you got different kinds of water. What kind of water y'all got? It said sparkling. I was like, I'll take some sparkling water. I'll take the sparkling. So she brings me my coffee, brings me my sparkling water. I'm getting settled in. Mike comes in, sits at the conference table. He's like, hey, it's great to meet you. I'm excited to chat with you. I know you've had some issues in the business. He's like, all right, so tell me, let's get into it. I was like, well, the business isn't doing that well. I'm trying to figure out what to do. He's like, great, happy to help. Where are your financials? It's like, financials? I didn't bring my financials. And he's like, so you just came to chit-chat about it? I was like, well, I got these notes. He was like, so you just came to chit-chat about your notes? And I realized, man, that was a good idea. I probably should have brought my financials. So Mike says, listen, let's save this meeting for the next meeting. We agreed to meet every month. So we'll meet in a month, get all your financials together. That way we can really do some work. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have time to chit-chat. That's a nugget. So obviously, I was stunned. I did not expect that. The meeting lasted 45 seconds. His assistant came in, and she peeked in the door after he had left and was like, I was kind of gathering my stuff. She was like, you want the coffee to go? It's like, yeah, I would take the coffee to go. Coffee was good. So I got my coffee, got my sparkling water. I'm leaving. I'm in my car in the little BMW. I'm like, man, that was crazy. But I left, and the thing that really stuck with me was, wow, I've got this opportunity to meet with this guy. I need to take advantage of it. So I'll rewind and tell you how I got to that point. When I was 19, I was in college. I was using this piece of software called Cool Wall Street. It was a piece of software that was basically like a stock market simulator game. And I loved it. The biggest downside was the people that ran the business were terrible. The site was always crashing. They had a forum on their website where we would talk to each other, all the users, and we would basically just complain about how terrible they were at running the business. And they wouldn't even respond to that. And so one day, not expecting them to respond, because they never responded to emails, I sent an email saying, hey, I want to be an intern for your business and help this thing become what it really could be and should be, because you got a great idea and a great product. And to my surprise, they actually wrote back. And they said, hey, we actually want to sell this business. We moved on to something else. Like most entrepreneurs, shiny object. They were ready to do something else after building this thing. And we just want to get rid of it. So if you know somebody that could buy the business, let us know. And, I was basically just being a nosy kid. I'm like, oh, yeah, I know people that would buy the business. So they sent me all of the numbers and all the financials, and I got to go through all that. I was like, wow, this business is making $60,000 a year, and they only wanted $70,000 for it. I didn't know anything about valuations, but I'm like, man, if I get mostly all my money back in a year, this seems like a really great deal. But that didn't matter because I was broke. I had $3,000 in my bank account that I had saved up working a summer camp in the summers. And, that was a long ways away from $70,000, even if it was a really great deal. So I had forgotten about it. One day, I'm talking to a buddy of mine, and he's talking about business stuff, and he was really into business. I was like, oh, man, you got to look at these numbers. I told these guys I could buy this business, and they were crazy enough to send me their logins and their financials and all this. He was like, and we're going through all these numbers, because we were nerds like that. And he's like, man, this is actually a really good business. So 3 days later, he hits me. He's like, man, I was talking to my dad, and if you figure out how to buy that business, I'll put $20,000 in. I'm like, $20,000? Where you get $20,000? The only kids my age that I knew that had $20,000 were the people that were selling something on the side. I'm like, are you slanging, Brad? Are you slanging something on the side, Brad? So Brad was like, no, I actually had a bar mitzvah when I was young, and I've got the money, and it's grown, blah, blah, blah. I was like, a bar mitzvah? Like, man, I need to give me a bar mitzvah, and we can buy this thing. It's like, I was already doing the calculations, like if I get 2.5 bar mitzvahs, we golden. Brad quickly burst my bubble. It's like, nah, you don't meet the qualifications, dog. It's like, not if I date a Jewish girl, I can't get in there in that kind of way. So the bar mitzvah plan was out the door, but it was really cool that his dad told him, listen, tell the guy that in most of these deals, there should be seller financing. So Brad explains it to me, And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool, but I've never met these people. They don't know me. All they know for sure is that I've never owned a business. I'm a 19-year-old college kid. They are never going to give me $30,000 or $170,000 in financing. That's absolutely outrageous. He's like, well, my dad said you should at least ask for 50% financing. So I sent him an email expecting like, dude, Brett's dad is an idiot. Like, there's no way they're gonna give me this. So sure enough, they sent me an email back and said, yes, we'll give you $35,000 in financing. All of a sudden, this thing became something that was a possibility. I'm like, I might be able to buy this business. But like I said, I only had $3,000 and I need to come up with 15. So as a lot of the Gen Xers in here know, back in the day, the colleges did something extremely, extremely predatory to us Gen Xers, where they would have credit card companies out on the quad. They paid off the colleges to get us into credit card debt when we didn't even have jobs. So I knew I never talked to those companies because my mama told me already, if you start messing with some credit cards, it's over. We coming after you. So I never talked to these companies. But you know, as I'm thinking about this, I'm like, man, I'm walking through the quad. I'm like, all right, bar mitzvah playing out. Parents don't have any money. Where can I get this money? And it was almost like the heavens opened and the lights shined down on the credit card table. I was like, there is my answer. So I go up to the companies, I'm talking to them, and we pull together this plan between the different companies of now what they call credit card stacking. So I stack up these credit cards, get the rest of the money, close on the business. Over the course of that semester, grow the business from $60,000 to making about 6 figures a year, profit, quit college, and I'm running this business for a few years, and that brings me back to the table with Mike for our second meeting.